You know what kept me up at night during my years working with older patients? It wasn't the medications they forgot to take. It wasn't even the chronic conditions we were managing. It was watching perfectly healthy seniors come into my office year after year, slowly fading away, not because their bodies were failing, but because they were alone. Before we go any further, I need to be transparent with you. Everything I'm sharing today is for educational purposes only. I'm not your doctor, and this video is not a substitute for personalized medical advice. If you're dealing with health concerns or thinking about making changes to your routine, please talk to your healthcare provider first. They know your unique situation, your medications, and your health history. Let me tell you about Margaret. She came to see me complaining about memory problems. "Doctor," she said, "I think I'm getting dementia. I can't remember things like I used to." We ran all the tests. Brain scans, blood work, cognitive assessments. Everything came back normal. But when I asked about her daily life, the real story emerged. Her husband had passed away 2 years earlier. Her children lived in different states. Her friends from church had mostly moved away or passed on. She lived alone in a house that had once been filled with laughter, and now the only voice she heard most days was the one on the television. Margaret wasn't developing dementia. Margaret was experiencing something the medical community is finally recognizing as a serious health crisis: the devastating effects of social isolation. And if you're watching this video, whether you're a senior living alone or someone who cares about an aging parent or grandparent, I need you to understand something many doctors are just now beginning to fully grasp. Isolation isn't just about being lonely. It's not just an emotional problem. It's a medical emergency happening in slow motion. When we talk about isolation, we're not simply talking about living alone. You can live alone and be beautifully connected to the world. And you can live in a house full of people and feel completely isolated. What we're talking about is the absence of meaningful human connection. It's going days, sometimes weeks, without a real conversation. It's having no one who checks on you, no one who notices if something's wrong. And here's what's terrifying. This kind of isolation is as dangerous to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That's not an exaggeration. That's what the research shows. Let me explain what happens inside your body when you're isolated, because this is where it gets really serious. Your brain is an incredibly social organ. It evolved over millions of years to connect, communicate, and collaborate with other humans. When you engage in conversation, when you laugh with a friend, when you share a meal with someone, your brain lights up. Neural pathways fire, neurotransmitters flow, and your brain stays sharp and active. But when those interactions disappear, when days pass in silence, your brain starts to change. Studies using brain imaging have shown that isolated seniors experience actual shrinkage in key areas of the brain, particularly the hippocampus. That's the part of your brain responsible for memory and learning. The gray matter decreases. The white matter, which helps different parts of your brain communicate with each other, starts to deteriorate. And this isn't just about normal aging. This is accelerated decline caused by lack of social engagement. Think about it like this. Your brain is a muscle, and social interaction is how you exercise it. Stop using it, and it atrophies, just like your legs would if you stayed in bed for months. But it's not just your brain. Your heart is suffering too, and this is where isolated seniors often don't connect the dots. When you're socially isolated, your body perceives it as a threat. You might not consciously feel afraid, but deep in your evolutionary biology, being alone meant being vulnerable. So your body activates the stress response. Cortisol levels rise. Your blood pressure increases. Inflammation spreads through your cardiovascular system. Day after day, month after month, your heart is working under stress, and you don't even realize it. I've had patients come in with high blood pressure, and we try medication after medication, but nothing seems to work quite right. Then I dig deeper into their lives, and I discover they haven't had a real conversation with anyone in a week. They eat alone. They watch TV alone. They go to bed alone with their thoughts spiraling. And we wonder why their heart is struggling. The heart doesn't just pump blood. It responds to your emotional state, your social connections, your sense of belonging in the world. Here's what doctors are seeing more and more in their practices. Seniors who are on 5, 6, 7 medications for various conditions, but the underlying problem, the isolation, never gets addressed. We treat the high blood pressure, but not the loneliness driving it. We prescribe sleeping pills, but we don't ask why they're lying awake at night with no one to talk to. We manage the diabetes, but we ignore the fact that they've lost all motivation to take care of themselves because they feel like nobody would notice anyway. And this is what keeps doctors up at night. Because we know that medications can't fix this. You can't prescribe a pill for human connection. But here's the good news. This is preventable, and it's reversible. Even if you've been isolated for months or years, even if you feel like it's too late, your brain has an amazing capacity to heal when you give it what it needs. So what is the #1 thing that isolated seniors need? It's regular, meaningful social connection. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. That's it? That's the big secret? But stay with me, because what I'm about to explain is more specific and more powerful than you might realize. We're not talking about forced socializing. We're not talking about exhausting yourself at big parties or trying to become someone you're not. We're talking about consistent, authentic human interaction that makes you feel seen, heard, and valued. This could be a phone call with a friend twice a week. It could be a coffee date with a neighbor every Thursday morning. It could be joining a small book club, volunteering at a local library, or even regular video calls with your grandchildren. The specific activity matters less than the consistency and the quality of the connection. Here's why this works, and why it's so powerful for your brain. When you engage in meaningful conversation, multiple areas of your brain activate simultaneously. You're processing language, reading facial expressions, recalling memories, forming new thoughts, and regulating your emotions all at the same time. This is high-level cognitive exercise. When you tell a story about your childhood, your memory centers activate. When you laugh at someone's joke, your emotional processing centers light up. This kind of mental stimulation is what keeps your brain sharp and resilient. Research from the Rush Memory and Aging Project, which has followed thousands of seniors for decades, found that people with larger social networks and more frequent social interactions had significantly slower rates of cognitive decline. In fact, the protective effect was so strong that it rivaled the benefits of staying physically active and eating a healthy diet. Another study found that seniors who maintained strong social connections were 50% less likely to develop dementia compared to those who were isolated. 50%. That's enormous. And here's something even more remarkable. It's never too late to see benefits. Even seniors who had been isolated for years showed improvements in cognitive function after just a few months of regular social engagement. The brain is more plastic, more adaptable than we ever imagined. Those neural pathways can regrow. New connections can form. Your memory can improve. But you have to give your brain the stimulation it needs. Now let's talk about your heart. When you have regular social connections, several powerful things happen in your cardiovascular system. First, your stress hormone levels normalize. Cortisol drops. Your body stops perceiving every day as a threat. This alone has profound effects on your blood pressure and inflammation. Second, social interaction triggers the release of oxytocin, sometimes called the bonding hormone. Oxytocin doesn't just make you feel warm and fuzzy, it lowers blood pressure, reduces inflammation, and even helps regulate your heart rate. Studies have shown that seniors with strong social ties have a 29% lower risk of heart disease and a 32% lower risk of stroke. Nearly a third less likely to have a stroke, just from maintaining meaningful connections with other people. And for those who've already had a heart attack, having strong social support dramatically improves survival rates and recovery outcomes. Your heart literally beats better when you feel connected to others. So how do you actually start building these connections, especially if you've been isolated for a while? I know it can feel overwhelming. Maybe you've lost your spouse and all your friends were really couple friends who drifted away. Maybe you're dealing with mobility issues that make it hard to get out. Maybe you're just shy and the thought of meeting new people feels terrifying. All of these barriers are real and all of them can be overcome. Start small, incredibly small. If you haven't had a real conversation in weeks, start with one phone call this week. Call a family member you haven't spoken to in a while. Call an old friend, even if it's been years. Yes, it might feel awkward at first. But I promise you, the person on the other end is probably delighted to hear from you. If you're able to leave your home, look for low-pressure activities where showing up is enough. Many senior centers have drop-in coffee hours where you don't have to commit to anything. Libraries have reading groups or craft circles. Community centers offer exercise classes designed for seniors. And yes, the exercise is good for you, but the real magic is the people you meet there. If mobility is an issue, or if you live in a rural area, technology can be your friend. Video calling has become so much easier than it used to be. Ask a grandchild or younger family member to help you set it up once, and then you can see and talk to people whenever you want. There are also phone-based programs specifically designed for isolated seniors, where volunteers call regularly just to chat. Consider volunteering, even in small ways. Many organizations desperately need the wisdom and experience that seniors bring. You could read to children at a library, help at a food bank, or mentor younger people in your former profession. Volunteering gives you purpose, structure, and automatic social connection. Plus, helping others has been shown to boost your own mental and physical health. For those of you watching this who are caregivers or family members of isolated seniors, you have such an important role to play. Sometimes seniors don't realize how isolated they've become. It creeps up gradually, or they're embarrassed to admit they're lonely. Check in regularly, not just with a quick "how are you," but with real conversations. Ask specific questions about their week. Notice changes in their mood, their speech, their memory. Now, I want to address some thoughts that might be running through your head. Maybe you're thinking, I'm too old for this. It's too late to make new friends. Let me tell you something with absolute medical certainty. It is not too late. I have seen 70-year-olds, 80-year-olds, even 90-year-olds transform their health and their lives by building new connections. Your brain doesn't stop being capable of growth just because you've reached a certain age. Maybe you're thinking, I don't want to bother anyone. Everyone's so busy with their own lives. Here's the truth. Most people genuinely want to help and connect, especially with older adults who have wisdom and life experience to share. You're not a burden. You're valuable. Your stories matter. Your perspective matters. Maybe you're thinking, I don't know where to start. I wouldn't even know what to say. That's okay. Start with listening. People love to talk about themselves. Ask questions. Show genuine interest in others. The conversation will flow more naturally than you think. I want to leave you with something important. If you're watching this and recognizing yourself in what I've described, if you've been isolated and you're feeling the effects on your health, please hear this. You deserve connection. You deserve to feel valued and loved and part of a community. Not because you've earned it or because you're still useful, but simply because you're human. Connection is a fundamental human need, like food or water or sleep. Every single day that you take a step, no matter how small, toward building connection is a day you're protecting your brain and your heart. It's a day you're adding quality and potentially years to your life. You don't have to transform your entire social life overnight. Just one conversation, one phone call, one coffee date. Small steps compound over time into profound changes. And for those of you who love an isolated senior, who are worried about your parent or grandparent or neighbor, don't underestimate the power of your consistent presence. Your weekly call might be the thing keeping their mind sharp. Your monthly visit might be what gives them a reason to keep taking care of themselves. Never think it doesn't matter. It matters more than you know. If you found this information valuable, I'd be grateful if you'd like this video and subscribe to this channel. We create content specifically focused on senior health, on the things that truly make a difference in how we age. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. A parent, a friend, a neighbor who you know is struggling with isolation. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. What's been your experience with social connection as you've aged? What barriers have you faced? What's worked for you? Your wisdom can help someone else who's struggling. Remember, it's never too late. Your brain is waiting to heal. Your heart is waiting to feel lighter. And there are people out there waiting to know you. You just have to take that first small step.